Welcome! It's Tuesday, December 26th, day after Christmas, and we are going to talk about today fat loss, specifically the war on fat loss. So I will give a minute for everybody to join because I know there was a number of people that said that they were going to join us today, and we are both live on Facebook and Instagram. From those of you that are new to my page, my name is carmenohlingeatmovelive. I'm a holistic nutritionist, fitness expert, and personal empowerment coach. So what all of that really means is basically I break down and teach simple ways to eat good food, to move your body, and to get your mindset in the right place so you can live your best life possible. Right? So that's what we're going to talk about today, war on fat loss, how to win the war on fat loss. And because I'm kind of a little bit of a nerd, I always say I'm like a food nerd, but WAR is an acronym. So we're going to start today with the W, and then tomorrow and the next day we'll do the A and the R. And they're all simple tips that you can implement into your life right away. One of the biggest things that I want to do is to get you all out of the diet mentality. So what I mean by that is, and I'm doing a YouTube series right now specifically around this, so I'm just going to side note on that really quick. So a lot of my clients recently have had a challenge with like having a bad meal, say like on Friday, and then it kind of snowballs into like Saturday and Sunday, and so they do all multiple days of like eating not well, right? And so we've all been there before, and so what happens? Well, we get in our head, okay, what do I need to do now? I overate. I need to undereat and I need to overexercise. That is not the case. That is not what you need to do. And so normally for the holidays, I'll just like eat my normal food, which is just real food that I cook, I love and I enjoy. It's very plant-based. I eat a lot of vegetables. I do eat lean meat and eggs, and whole grains, nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. But I'll allow myself something like my grandma's cheesy potatoes or something that you can't just go and buy tomorrow. That's what I normally do. So since I have clients doing this, I decided, okay, what if I just ate the SAD diet? The SAD diet is the standard American diet for the 3 days of kind of like our holiday celebrations that we had. So I did that, and holy shit, I feel like crap. But it's an experiment, right? And I want to be able to relate with you guys, feel what you're feeling, that sort of thing. So I did my first YouTube video today. You can check that out. I linked it on my Facebook page, or just hop over to YouTube, Carmen Ohling. And I'm going to do a 4-week mini-series to show you how you don't have to just dramatically slash the food that you're eating. You don't have to over-exercise. You can just go back to what you were doing, eating a healthy lifestyle. Lifestyle is the key word for it to be sustainable. And the weight will come off, the fat will come off, you'll get back down to where you need to be. So I posted that today. You can check that out. I'll be doing 4 weeks so I can get back to where I feel comfortable, right? So anyway, that was just a side note. Back to the war on fat loss. So what we're talking about today is war on fat loss, getting out of the diet cycle. So fat loss shouldn't be grueling. It shouldn't be focusing on being perfect. It's not about the perfect diet, the perfect workout, or anything like that. And it's really, like I said, getting you out of that diet cycle of thinking that you, like, certain foods are bad, certain foods are good. You have to over-exercise and under-eat to lose fat and feel good and just, like, feel like shit, right? Because that is not the case. What fat loss should be is you should find a way to incorporate healthy habits into your life so it's sustainable, right? It should just be a part of your lifestyle. So that might mean that you need to change some of the places you go, the things that you do, the people that you hang around with, because if you have a lifestyle that is not supportive of your healthy goals, of losing weight, of eating a whole foods-based diet, of a new exercise regimen, it's going to be really, really, really fucking hard to stick to it, right? It's going to feel grueling. So you need to really look at all aspects of your life. So today I want to talk about the W in the war on fat loss. So most people, when they think of fat loss, they think of endless cycles of running, walking, treadmill, elliptical, cardio, right? So a lot of you love or hate cardio. I kind of like cardio. I do walk my dog every day. I just like to get out and about. I normally do like 3 HIIT sessions a week, around 20 minutes, and that's fun for me, and that's the kind of cardio that I love. But I do not love getting on the treadmill or the elliptical for hours on end, and you don't need to do that. In fact, what you really want to do when you're losing fat is you want to build muscle and lose fat. And cardio kind of does the opposite of that because it's not going to enable you to build as much muscle as you need. What will? Well, resistance training, weight training. That's where the W comes in the war on fat loss. So weight training or resistance training is the key to fat loss and looking amazing, having your best body ever. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think, like, what pops into your head when you think of like weight training? Anything you could think of? By the way, water. Drink a lot of water. That's key. So something I get often, and not only from women, but from men, is I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I don't want to be big and bulky. I just want to be toned, right? So someone said when they think of weight training, they think of like dumbbells and kettlebells. Yeah, those are all ways to add resistance. So, but here is the truth to weight training for anybody. Oh, and resistance bands, that's another good one. For anybody, weight training is good. The young, the old, anybody. And what you want to start with is you want to start with good form and low weight, right? Because you want to be doing the exercise correctly. But then your body actually adapts. So at first, if you've never done any resistance training or weight training and you start doing it, you're going to see results very quickly. So that's one of the keys to weight training, because we're all, don't get me wrong, I do it too. We want like the instant gratification, right? And so you'll see results very quickly, but then you'll have what's called like diminishing returns because you need to really adopt the idea of progressive overload. And so what progressive overload is over time, you need to be increasing the intensity of your weight training. So someone else just commented like that they don't know how to use the machines or the weights at their gym. And it doesn't matter what gym you're at. I would say probably like 95% of gyms, if you just go in the office and say, hey, look, I really want to start a weight training regimen. Like, can you help me? Can you show me what to do? They are going to be able to help you, and they'll show you how to use some of the machines. So I know where I go and where I partner with is Anytime Fitness, and there's Anytime Fitness across the nation, which is awesome because you can go to any of them, and they're anytime, so they're 24 hours, and if you do any traveling, it is the best gym out there. It is awesome. Best gym in Albany where I live. But you can go in and they'll hook you up. They'll be able to set you up with how to use the machines. So if you don't have a gym and need to join a gym, let me know, and I can give you some referrals as well if you're just looking for personal training. But you can get someone to show you how to use the weights, and that is really key. So going back to what I was talking about weight training, you start with lighter weight and you learn how to do the proper exercises, right? So you normally do need to hire a professional, ask somebody at a gym, get a personal trainer, watch some YouTube videos is kind of a free way to do it. You can check out my YouTube channel and there's many others. You need to get that down, but after a while you'll see diminishing returns, so you have to start increasing the intensity. And you can do that a number of ways. So you can increase the number of reps that you're doing. So like let's say you start out doing bicep curl, right? And you're doing 8, so maybe you increase that to 12 or to 15, or you increase the weight. And really you are not going to get big and bulky. So what you really want to do is you want to break down the muscle when you're doing your weight training. So what happens, it will build up, right? And when you have more muscle than body fat, so let's say we take an average person, they weigh like say 160 pounds, and if they were to exchange like 10 pounds of fat for 10 pounds of muscle, they would still weigh 160 pounds, but they would be smaller and they would look like they lost weight because the muscle takes up less space than the fat, and it looks so much better. And not only does muscle look better, and you can only do that by resistance training or weight training. And so someone was commenting earlier, it's not just like the squat rack, right? But you can use dumbbells, you can use kettlebells, you can use bands. There's so many things that you can do to provide resistance to be able to break down that muscle to build it up. Any other questions so far? I've kind of sidetracked a little bit with a couple of the questions. Let me just double check my notes here. Yeah, so start lifting more weight. All too often I see people in the gym, and sorry ladies, a lot of times it is ladies, and they are like just lifting the weights and it's really quick and it's not a lot of weight and it's really easy for them. So a really good measurement that you can have is, let's say you're doing 10 reps of a certain exercise, and if you're easily getting through all 10 reps, you need to increase the weight. But you want to make sure that the form is always good. So focusing on form first, getting that down, and then start increasing the weight. And believe me, you are not going to get big and bulky. So if you can develop lean muscle mass, that's really going to help you burn fat and boost your metabolism too. Because muscle actually takes more energy, or calories, right, in order for it'll burn more over fat. So that's another benefit. Hey, eating more if you have more muscle, right? So we'd all like to eat more and get out of that diet cycle like what I talked about at first. So in order to increase your strength and your stamina and your endurance and your lean muscle mass, you need to slowly increase the intensity and the weight that you're doing. The other thing with weight training is, like, a lot of people think you can just like, well, I'm going to spot reduce, so I want to lose, weight in my legs or in my stomach or arms or something, and so you only work out that one body part. Don't do that either. So you want to be balanced, right? You can't spot reduce. So the key to fat loss is, this first key is weight training, and you want to be balanced throughout your whole body. So like oftentimes you'll see women just training legs and not training upper body, or men just training upper body and not training legs. Don't do that. Be balanced, right? Because spot reduction is not really a thing. The other cool thing about weight training is it slows the aging process. So the older you get, the more you're at risk for like bone and muscle deterioration, also decreased flexibility and a slower metabolism. But if you're able to maintain that muscle mass, then you're going to be able to live longer, do more, feel better, and really not have those signs of aging in your day-to-day life, which is really, really good. So, questions so far on weight training or why it's important? Or is there still anybody out there that's skeptical, like, I don't want to weight train, I don't want to get bulky, or what are your top questions on that? I'm just checking over my notes really quick to make sure that I got all my points out that I wanted. So again, this is day 1 of the War on Fat Loss, and WAR is an acronym for those of you that missed the beginning. So the W is for weight training or resistance training. That is really one of the biggest keys. I know for myself, I used to do a lot of cardio and a lot of dieting and a lot of just like circuit training. So I didn't focus on that progressive overload idea that I talked about, and I would just go through and I would kind of do the lifts, and I wouldn't focus on the intensity and really weight training how you should be weight training. And I was always stuck like in that diet cycle, and I always had fat and I couldn't get rid of it. And it wasn't until I really, really started focusing on, 1, eating a whole foods-based diet, which we'll probably talk about that in one of the other acronym days, and 2, like weight training for a purpose with intensity to really build muscle and sculpt and shape my body the way I want it to look. The other really, really cool thing about weight training and resistance training is that like it gives you so much confidence. And I know that sounds really weird, but it does. Like once you can really see what you can do with your body, like you'll be amazed and you'll just want more and more and more, right? It's also a huge stress reliever for me. So if I have a stressful day or something going on, I know that I can go into the gym and hit the weights, and I just feel amazing once I leave. So nobody really has any questions so far. If you're a seasoned weight trainer, have some experience weight training in the gym, know how to use some of the machines, I know a lot of my clients have had some success. I do some 6 week personalized training plans, so you can message me or DM me or go on my website for that. But otherwise, just go into the office at what other health club you're at or gym, or if you need some referrals, let me know too. Someone said tips for beginners. Let's see, what would be my biggest tips for beginners? Is to focus on doing the exercise correctly and hitting all areas of your body. So if you're a beginner, I think it's a good idea to do maybe upper body day a couple days, lower body day a couple of days, and getting in some key exercises. So key exercises, I think, for lower body are going to be lunges, are going to be squats and deadlifts. So some form of those, because there are so many forms of lunges, so many forms of squats, and so many forms of deadlifts. If you're at a gym and they have machines, you can start with some of the machines, which are a little bit easier than some of the free weights. So you could do things like leg extension for your quads, your hamstring curl, and your leg press. Those are 3 pretty basic machines, and when you use the machines, you adjust it to your body, and it's a little bit safer than like loading a barbell on your back and you've never done that before without any instruction. For upper body, if you do things like pull-ups or pull-downs or rows for your back, bicep curls, and any sort of like tricep extension type exercise for your triceps, and shoulder press and lateral raises. So shoulder press would be like this, and lateral raises like this for your shoulders are really good exercises. But what I would say is just get a few exercises down and then get yourself a little program going and do that consistently. So all too often I see people start and stop new programs all the time. They're like, oh, I did this program for a week and now I'm going to do something else. But you can never get into that like progressive overload stage that I talked to you about. So if you're always changing different exercises, you're never like increasing your weight or increasing your intensity. So what I would definitely recommend is like 4 weeks, get a program. So like if you're new, get a program, do it for 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, see how you do, write it down, and track where you're at. So like maybe day 1, if you're a real beginner and you don't have a lot of muscle mass, maybe you're doing a bicep curl with 10 pounds. And then by the end of 6 weeks, you can do 15 pounds. Well, that's increasing the intensity because you're increasing the weight. So write down your workout, write down the weights that you're using, how many reps that you're using, that sort of thing, and don't change so often. So 4 to 6 weeks I think is a really good time frame to be able to get the exercises down right and then do some intensity increase and then change and see what happens. What other questions are out there? So weight training can be tricky too. So one thing to note is, let's see, like from a nutrition standpoint, I call it like bio-individuality. So not every diet is going to work for everybody, and it's going to be the same thing with weight training. So there's some exercises that some people like absolutely love, and I just can't feel them. So when you're doing a lift, you want to think about what muscle group you're working and can you feel it in that muscle group, really squeezing and contracting. So for example, if I was going to be doing a bicep curl and I was just like throwing the weight up like this and I wasn't really squeezing and contracting, that's not going to do a lot, right? But if I'm really squeezing my bicep and thinking about, okay, I'm working my bicep, that's what's working, I can feel it, that's going to be an effective exercise for you. So there's like some squat exercises for glutes that people can really feel that I don't really like them. And so when you are doing your lifts and you're learning and you're trying new things, think about what muscle or muscle groups are you working, and can you feel it? Are you squeezing and being able to contract and really, really get a good squeeze and a stretch in that area? If not, that might not be a good lift for you. So everybody's body mechanics and chemistry and makeup is a little bit different. Maybe legs are longer, torso is longer, that sort of thing. So not all lifts are going to work for everybody. So make sure that if you don't feel it, maybe adjust your hand position, your grip, your foot position. And then if that doesn't work for you, then just change the exercise. Okay, so weight training. I hope I've given you enough, and information on weight training and why it is so important, because believe me, like, if you want a healthy body look where you feel good with your clothes on and your clothes off, and you want to be able to do all the things that you want in life, be confident, feel amazing, like weight training, resistance training of some sort is really, really where it's at. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve with cardio only. So, and setting up a good program, not switching it every single day, but setting up a good program, getting some progressive overload in there where you're increasing the intensity, knowing that you're not going to get big and bulky, you're actually going to look great, you're going to increase your metabolism, you're going to be supporting your bones and developing muscle. It's really, really good. Last but not least, I just want to say, like, all too often people that just weight train too, they're not doing anything around flexibility or mobility. Before you do any weight training, you want to do a warm-up where you're warming up your muscles. So no holding stretches, so no static stretching, but doing things where you're getting your body warmer, the body group that you're going to be working. So maybe that's just doing some air squats and some leg swings, or some arm circles, some jumping jacks. Warming up for a few minutes on a cardio machine, and doing a few dynamic stretches, walking lunges, that sort of thing. So you want to do that before you work out. Then after you work out, that's when you do your foam rolling and your static stretching. All right, so in recap, this was part 1 of the war on fat loss. The W for war is weight training. That's really how you're going to get the absolute best results possible with fat loss. Please reach out to me. Feel free to message me. If you do have any questions on weight training, I would be more than happy to answer them, give referrals, write training plans, whatever you need help with. So second, go ahead and join me tomorrow and Thursday. It will be at 11 a.m., not 10:30, where we talk about the A and the R for the war on fat loss. And join me on my journey as I get rid of my holiday weight gain for my Christmas experiment that I did on my YouTube channel. I posted the first video today, and let me tell you, that physique update is freaking scary. So, but I know that if I just get back to doing what I normally do every single day, I really can't remember the last time that I just ate like the standard American diet for like 3 days in a row. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. So check out that YouTube. I'll be doing this with you 4 weeks. I know I'll be able to get back to where I normally at, where I feel comfortable with my body and feel confident. So anyway, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Afterwards on Instagram, if you want to message me, if you have questions. On Facebook, you can message me, or you can make comments in the post, and I'll answer those after as well. All right, I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. New Year's is coming up too. It's the new year. It's everybody doing their goal setting. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. Enjoy your day.